Hi guys, welcome to Hideout Rundown.
Let's
My home
go.
address is
Yay.
1200 Washington Avenue, Washington D.C.
So,
Blow up the White House
with my
really,
bomb.
Ruben?
with my bomb.
Legalize nuclear bombs.
We are going to talk about Form Compilation All-Nighter Volume 7, continuing our
Ooh.
trend of only making videos on these compilations because they're a very, monumentous occasion in the underground EDM SoundCloud community. So we want to talk about it because I think we all like this compilation a pretty sizable amount. So
Yeah.
how the format is gonna work is that everyone who is here today, which is Blamo, Jeeelm, me, Ruben, Omelid, we're each gonna pick 10 songs in the compilation that are our favorites, and we're gonna go down our list and talk about each one that's on our lists. And at the end, if there's any songs that we want to talk about that we missed, we're gonna go back to them and revisit the track list. So we're not gonna talk about every song on the compilation, presumably, but it's gonna be a good amount of the ones that are, that are our favorites. So I guess Blamo, do you want to start with your number 10?
All right, gladly. All right, my number 10. I don't know if this is a controversial one because I feel like you guys like this a lot more than I do, but my number 10 is Wander by 360.
Oh man.
I think because I think this is a good song. Obviously, this is a good song. 360's just been crazy these past couple years ever since this came out. But here's the thing. I feel like if you compare this to their other all-nighter work like Nacreous and Bliss, I feel like those are just not in the same style, but I feel like those are just way better. Wander doesn't really have that one moment that sticks with me that the other two songs have.
Yeah, that's fair. I definitely think that I prefer Bliss and Nacreous to this, but that might just be because this has been out for not as long. But I do think that those tracks are definitely catchier than Wander. But I think Wander is definitely incredibly fun to listen to and very bouncy and uplifting. And that's what 360 has been one of my favorite artists as of late because he's just putting out so much music that's always so good. And I think this is a pretty good, part in his catalog. I'm definitely gonna go back to it quite. This is my number 2 on the compilation. I'm quite a big fan of the
360
the funky music. So
Yeah.
I have this quite high because it's just plays into what I look for in music really well. And I don't really have any complex reasons for being a big fan, but I really love it.
It's just a fun song. It's hard for you to dislike it.
To me, I always like seeing 360 on these compilations. His tracks are usually emblematic of what kind of the best songs on these all-nighter comps are, which are usually a pretty simple idea, just kind of played out and explored in fun and different ways. And that's what this is, especially more so than the other ones, I think. It's one, kind of chord progression rhythm. It's very similar all the way through, but there's 4 different sections where, just with a different beat pattern, it suddenly has a different vibe to it, a different flow. And it's just fun stuff like that. Also, I know with every 360 song, this guy works an 8-hour shift and then comes home and makes his submission.
Jesus,
which is just
I did not know
insane.
That's crazy.
That
He always gets booked for work, yeah. And so they don't have to be anything too complex. And yeah, this is my number 4. I find this one incredibly catchy. Not too much to say about it. It's just a simple, really fun song.
It's just nice, in the best way possible. It's good background music. It's good just to kinda...
that's tough.
No, but in a good, you know what I mean though? It's good
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's good music to just kind of unwind to. It's good music to just kind of put on while you're driving or something and just kind of take your mind off shit.
You fall asleep to the Home Depot music. What do you do?
I definitely agree with what y'all have said so far, and I mean I was also a pretty big fan of 360's releases on I think 4 and 5, right, and also 6.
5 and 6.
5 and 6.
Yeah,
sorry.
6 was Nacreous.
6 was Nacreous. I think I agree with Blamo that I think Wander is the weakest of his 3 all-nighter songs. I still think it's good. It's just that
We're getting dissonance.
Oh, of his
Guys are
four.
getting this.
Sorry, my fault. My main gripe with it is that I just think the drops are a little bit anticlimactic. Like I don't really think that there's sort of a satisfying payoff anywhere in the song. Like it's cool that like the bass kind of, there's just sort of a slap bass that kicks in and like a melody starts playing, and it's fun, but I just wish there was more of a satisfying payoff personally.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's pretty much how I feel.
But
about
it's still a great song.
360 is just really good. Like I think it says a lot about how good they are. That their like weakest quote song is still like a guaranteed playlist ad.
Right.
Well,
All right.
Go with that.
Good
Take
talk.
us to
Good
number
song.
9, Blamo.
All right, number 9. This is a big one. Infowler, eccentric, DJ Not SKYBREAK, and Christian Hayward with Boundless. This song is like, okay, I think that the second like really fast hardcore drop is like not that good. I feel like I honestly think if it was just a copy paste drop, this would be like easy top 5. That first drop is like insane with and then like
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the B section, but the next part with like the rapid fire, like I wouldn't say like machine gun hits, but like it's just fucking crazy. It goes so hard, and Christian Hayward's vocals are good.
yeah,
It's just fun, man.
So
it
true.
is definitely a pretty fun song. I definitely like. I'm not the biggest fan of like that kind of D&B a lot of the time, but it definitely like if I were to listen to this song, it would definitely do its job well of getting me kind of like in a good mood. Very like Christian Hayward. I really like his vocals on it too,
It's
and I
probably
like it's really diverse too. Has a lot of switch ups.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's probably like the most successful like full flavor song in votes. Like usually, like I don't know, the transitions sound like nice, and it's like I don't know, it's just like it goes into each other very smoothly. It's a good song. It's nothing I'd like come back to per se, because I think all of these artists just have better music. But it's cool. Like I like the diversity in the drops a lot. It's cool.
It's true. I mean,
yeah,
no, go ahead.
No, you go. All
right, fine. I mostly also agree with Blamo. Like, I think the first drop is insane. Like, I think it's mostly like eccentric's style of like, I don't know. I also normally don't really like D&B, but just like the melodicness of it, and like the fact that the lead is kind of slightly syncopated in the first section just like hits so hard. The SKYBREAK drop, I've been listening to this song a lot. It's pretty high on my list, and that drop took a bit to grow on me. Like, especially obviously the full flavor approach. There's like a trap part which still like I'm not huge on, but I actually really like the future bass part of that drop. Like it comes around twice, and like the second time around there's like the melody has a little bit of an extra flourish, which I find just really satisfying. But yeah, I mean, I also think like for a mega collab, it's really cohesive. Like it's just very polished, and I think everyone's style sort of blends together pretty well.
True, yeah. It manages to kind of have all those switch ups, but also still sound like the same song and not kind of go drastically in different directions where it starts to be like, fatiguing to listen to. But it still maintains being really interesting at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, this song personally didn't make my list. It's in my honorable mentions. I liked it. I'm going to preface this by saying it's so damn impressive that they made a song that has like a drum and bass drop, like a hardcore drop and a trap drop, and I like it. Like that's a feat in and of itself, And I think it's really cool. Like there's cool bits and pieces, but some like the nature of a kind of full flavory song or a kind of multi-genre song is just that you're gonna like some parts more than others, and that's kind of the case for me. And I think this one is I don't know. I think the production a little bit kind of holds it back a little bit for me. I think that's just kind of like it was made in 24 hours, like, and it's super varied and constantly changing, which I do appreciate because it keeps the song fresh. But
it's super clean, also.
It is cleanly made, but I don't know, something about it kind of just, I don't know, it holds it back a little bit for me. But like I really do appreciate that they went all out, like multi-genre. No two sections are the same because it makes for an interesting listen through. It's easy enough to just kind of copy paste once you have something solid, but I really appreciate the fact that they didn't do that. And yeah, honestly, I kind of like every section, every drop has something to it that I go, oh, okay. So I'll definitely be listening to this one still, even if it isn't in my top 10, because yeah, it has that replay value due to being so varied. Yeah, pretty solid song.
All right, number 8. I don't know how this might also be a weird one. My number 8 is Lizdek Oblivion. I wasn't in this.
Okay.
I was listening to this song like during the premiere. I wasn't like too big on it. I remember saying that the first drop, vocal drops, like Flash game getting hurt in like lava or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But I listened to it again when I was like going through like Spotify. It just goes hard, man. The first drop is like still kind of weird because it's just like essentially all sub bass and then with the vocal chops. But I think it's just like satisfying to listen to. The second drop scratches that same like garbage trap itch that like Night Punk and Tynan like go for. It just goes like, it's just incredibly screechy trap that it just goes like absolutely hard for no reason. And yeah, it's just good. I haven't heard that much Lizdek. I have, I think, Abyss in my playlist, and that's it. I want to check out more of the music.
It does really, yeah. Lizdek is like, if you like that, definitely check out Lizdek stuff.
Yeah,
they're like, it's just like they just
Hold
released,
on.
yeah. Lizdek just released an album that sounds just like that. Like all the songs are just very like you said, like kind of like trashy, like screechy trap. That's really good, really like satisfying.
Yeah, I mean, this style of music is like, I'm very kind of conflicted on it. Like, one side of me listens to it. Like, sometimes I will listen to music like this, and I'm just like, what the hell is this? Like, I can't, like, I just have to like turn it off because it just like is so abrasive and so loud. But other times I put it on, it just like hits. Like, it's almost like funny just because it's so ridiculous and out there and like crazy. And I've yet to kind of identify where this song falls on that spectrum for me. It's probably somewhere towards the middle because I remember during the premiere everyone was like, what is it? Like, people were like shocked about just how like abrasive it was. And I was kind of like, there's some pretty cool like sound design in here, some pretty cool flow in here. But I guess I'm kind of in the middle on it right now.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I don't know that I kind of agree that there is something like satisfying about especially the first drop. I think this is the one where a lot of us like compared it to Without You by Mode Step, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like even though like if you were to show that drop to someone who had like never listened to electronic music before, they would think it's like completely ridiculous. But for some reason it's just so satisfying, like the way that like the repetitive vocal chop and like that bass note. I don't know. I kind of enjoy this song as well, even though it's not also my cup of tea, but yeah, I definitely see the appeal. And like obviously Lizdek has been putting out like a ton of music in this vein recently, and it's definitely been interesting to watch him grow as like an artist, because I used to go crazy over his like melodic music, and it's like completely changed. So that's been definitely an interesting progression to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have too much more to add. I kind of agree. Yeah, there's something just innately satisfying about a loud like sub bass just plucking at your eardrums. You know, it just works. And I think if that's not your cup of tea, the minimal stuff, well then the second drop's probably going to be closer, because it's just like all out like noise. And I don't really like trap like this too much, but honestly, like it works for me. It's definitely not my cup of tea, but I totally see the appeal. And there's a lot of like Ava said, there's a lot of like really cool sound design and like flow and like lots of really cool technical production elements at work here that I appreciate. And yeah, it's really cleanly made too, especially for 24 hours. And so yeah, not exactly my thing, but like there's a lot to get out of it, and there's a lot to respect there. That's kind of where I am on it.
All right, so on to number 7 we go. This is one I feel like most people are gonna like. Stasys, I don't know how to pronounce these. MANSTRETTA and dheeman, and I don't even know how to pronounce the name Nuale. I feel like about like this time last year, I binged through, I would say, like 75% of the like Night Owl Collective songs, and obviously they're all really good. Night Owl Collective is like one of, if not the best labels.
The best label.
And listening to this just like takes me back. It's like the good old days of just really just amazing sound design, good melodies, good glitch off, and obviously, like I know Stasys is really good. They have a good amount of songs in their playlist, but I feel like this is like one of the better songs I've heard from them. This is like really good.
Yeah, I'm the Observatory EP, which is Stasys' Night Owl Collective EP, is like one of my favorite EPs of all time. I think it's incredible. And Stasys has been one of my favorite kind of artists in that neuro, like kind of experimental-ish side of electronic music for a long time. And I think as of recent, I haven't been as into their music as I used to be. But I like the song quite a bit. When it first premiered, when I first heard it, I kind of wasn't as big on it. But as I, got time to listen to it kind of in an isolated setting and and pay attention more to all the details, I think it's pretty great. I think the B section of the drop, where it gets kind of that classic Stasys like funky feel, I love that part a lot. There's a lot of ear candy. There's some really catchy melodies, and there's that classic kind of Stasys production, and I'm a big fan. I haven't heard of either of the other two artists on this song at all, but I'd definitely be interested in checking them out if they have music that's like this.
Yeah, I mostly agree. I think like this song didn't really blow me away. Like I just thought it was two like very solid Stasys drops. And definitely the highlight for me is the second drop, where it gets like, it becomes a little more swingy, and like the piano kind of like finds its footing, and then there's like a bass that comes in and plays some like super clean melodies. I've always been like a little ambivalent on Stasys. Like he's the kind of artist that I sort of should like more than I actually do. Like the whole ear candy, like jazz infused like glitch hop type music. However, I do also quite like this song, and I would honestly consider this like an above average Stasys song. At least like
I'd agree.
At least like for the past couple of years.
It's just like like a glory days, like field trip. Like this song would fit for field trip volume 4. And I mean that
it would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not too much to add. This one's also on my list.
It's my number 7.
It's my number 8. Yeah, like you said, like very solid Stasys song. It sounds like it doesn't sound like it was made in 24 hours. Like it sounds, it could slot right in on any Stasys EP or anything, and I think it would fit. I definitely agree that the second drop is like the highlight of the song. I just love it. Has that classic, like Aaron was saying, like the bass, like the moving kind of. It's almost like a respace, but it's like really like filtered and like low, and it just kind of moves around quickly, playing different melodies and stuff. And there's a lot more of a swingy feel. And just a really solid song. Catchy melodies. I love the really like digital sounding piano. I think it works really well in the context of the song. And it was whoever put that in, I really appreciate that choice. I think it works super well. And really solid, great Foley work as per usual from Stasys. And number 8 on my list.
Yeah, I think like it's this song and the lalanoi song, which I'm sure we'll get around to talking about. That sounded just genuinely like it wasn't made in 24 hours. Like the songs, both of those songs, just feel like they reach their potential. But they sound finished. It's not usually my cup of tea. Like it's probably nothing I would come back to, but it definitely sounds nice. Definitely sounds finished. There's a lot of nice little details that I think they got to work on, and it worked out.
Sick.
Yeah.
All right. Number 6, Dreamer by Similar Outskirts. I feel like I can like safely say that the majority of people, at least in here, are like not too fond of Similar Outskirts recent stuff. Similar Outskirts is like one of my favorite artists because they're consistently able to make like hard hitting dubstep, and I'm able to like distinguish it from like every other like artist. Like their production is incredibly clean. They have amazing melodies, which I feel like is like an underrated aspect about them. But I can understand people who say that they've been like tired of Similar Outskirts like recent dubstep. So when this came out, I was just like completely like blown away because it's nothing that I've heard from like Similar Outskirts at all. Just like a deep like bassy house with like I think it was like someone said it was like a ping pong clap, but it just works. It's definitely Similar Outskirts. It has like the signature like vocal chops, like percussions. The mixing is on point like as usual.
Yeah, I
like-
think the song was pretty good too. I'm kind of generally kind of ambivalent to Similar Outskirts' like normal output. I definitely think that they're like an incredibly technically skilled producer. Like their mix downs are always super clean, and their percussion especially is what I think is the best quality about their music. But I just that kind of dubstep sound doesn't always, hit for me. But I think this song was definitely like a really like refreshing switch for their sound. It's definitely there's a lot of really cool sounds in here. There's like I definitely did not expect kind of a more minimal house song from Similar Outskirts because I don't know if they have any other music that's kind of in this vein. And I think it's really catchy. I think the production obviously is really really clean. But I don't really have I think there are other house songs in this style, this kind of like more minimal bouncy style that I would prefer over this one, but it's definitely I think it's definitely pretty good.
Yeah, not too much to add. I wasn't expecting it, and I was actually pleasantly surprised. It's not anything I'd personally come back to, but it has, to be like honest, it has been getting caught in my head. I've been walking around and I've been just hearing that little art playing in my head, and I haven't listened to it since the premiere, and so that in and of itself on a comp where I have like 11 I think playlist ads, like that's pretty impressive. And yeah, I give it a re-listen right before we like started recording, and yeah, I think it's very solid, very catchy, and it was a nice pleasant surprise.
Sure. Yeah, like you guys said, it was it was a nice surprise. It's like nothing that Similar Outskirts was made before. It's very it's like Fit crushed the song. Sounds really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's a very it's a good example of a very simple idea, extrapolated to a full solid song, with a complete idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Wander, the 360 song in that way. It's kind of like the same melody, just repeated throughout, and then just different beat patterns or just different little subtle things to make the flow feel different. And yeah,
that second drop switch up goes so hard.
It works. Yeah, it works really well. And it's what I like to see on all nighter comps. I like to see a simple idea just taken and explored. Like, what if it was this style? What if it was this? I like seeing that.
I love these awkward pauses when everyone's
just
nobody knows what's happening.
Move on to the next one.
All right, number 5. This one's a mouthful. Eksau, lalanoi. I think it's Amino. How you pronounce that?
Yeah.
Like LK4 Sumi, ISLTR, and mybear.
Okay.
I don't know how to pronounce that. And mybear grabbing some fallen twigs. This is my number 5.
Awesome song. Makes me
This
feel
song-
Very awesome song.
It's so pretty,
I'm
man.
stealing this from Ouchdog, but it makes me feel like I'm going through a forest. It's a very accurate description.
Yeah, this is my number 1. I love this song a lot.
Wow.
I did not expect it to be my number 1. I expected 360 to be my number 1, but I listened to this more and more, and I just I know this sounds like cliche, and I know everyone in the damn Premiere chat was saying this, but ever since I heard that damn Porter Robinson album,
Don't say it.
I'm not saying this. I'm
Don't
not
say
saying this
it.
sounds like it. I'm not saying this sounds like it. It doesn't sound like Nurture. I'm saying ever since I heard Nurture, I have gained such an appreciation for music that kind of gives me like that spring like energy. If that makes any sense. This song feels like
I get that.
springtime. It feels like natural, and I've absolutely fallen head over heels for music that can give me that feeling of like peace and spring. And this song does that for me in spades. There's so many beautiful melodies that kind of just glide all throughout the song. There's so much incredible Foley and ear candy that I listen to this song and I just want to lay down and like take it all in. And I really adore this song a lot.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there was no way a lalanoi isolator and ik4sumi collab was gonna go wrong. When I saw that on the track list, I was like, oh my god, this is gonna have like the craziest ear candy I've ever heard. And I was actually surprised to find that it doesn't take like the insane, like super crazy, like glitchy route that some like harder lalanoi songs tend to take, or even like ik4sumi, who I've heard more heavier or more upbeat kind of bass music songs from. And instead it's really laid back and like sounds like springtime. It's a very it's like I don't know, I was gonna describe it as like simple, but it's not. It's like deceptively simple because it is really complex, all the foley and all the ear candy and even the melodies kind of fluttering in and out. Like the whole thing is very simple and easy to listen to. It doesn't I don't know even how to. I'm struggling to find the words to kind of describe what I want to describe, but it doesn't there's not like a. It's kind of the opposite of like what we were talking about with 360 or similar Outskirts, where there's not really like one motif that I can kind of nail down in the song. It's just kind of a bunch of different ones kind of stitched together and they kind of just flow nicely together. And it's more like an experience where you just kind of lie back and you just kind of listen to all the details and you let it just wash over you. And that is very unique for an all-nighter song and especially impressive for an all-nighter song that they were able to make something. I know there's like 6 people on this song, but still the fact that they were able to do something like that, that's so different and so cohesive and like really cleanly made, like it's a feat for sure. I really like this one too. So
I think this is the most like out of all of the songs like on the track list, I think this song is like it's the most insane that this song was made in under 24 hours. There's so much like it's produced so well. It gives off like the vibe that it was going for perfectly, where you're just like the title's called Grabbing Some Falling Twigs. Sounds like you're like a child just like going through spring and like playing just playing with fucking like sticks and twigs. It gives
very
off like
aptly named song.
The imagery is like perfect. And as Ruben said, I guess it makes sense given that there was 6 people and 6 like insanely talented people, but it's still insane that this is what was made in under 24 hours. It's amazing stuff.
Yeah.
With the awkward pauses. Oh, never mind. Sorry.
No. So my expectations were like extremely high for this collab. I mean, I'm like a massive fan of lalanoi, eccentric, and isolator. They're all like some of the most technically impressive producers that I know. And ultimately, like, I do think that the song turned out really nice, but I think I'd be lying if I said I wasn't hoping for something a little more, like, out there. Like, you could definitely hear the style that, like, lalanoi and eccentric do with, like, this, all the Foley and, like, the ear candy all over the place. You can kind of tell that it's, like, it's definitely more, like, restrained compared to, like, most of their other music. To me, I mean, in this song, for me, there's like a clear highlight, which is that first drop with like the basses, which are like amazingly mixed and like just so satisfying. Like to me, that I mean, I think it sounds like Isolator, but I'm not sure. I just loved like the flow of that section, and especially how they bring that little like melodic motif, except like they cut off the first few notes of the melody, which like almost makes it feel like oddly somber to me, which I really like that part. However, the second drop, I mean, I think it's good. It just feels like more of just like a pleasant melodic break rather than like a satisfying final payoff to me. And I like the song. It didn't really meet my expectations, which were admittedly like probably unrealistically high.
All right, we're in the. I think okay. This top four, I feel like these top four songs are gonna be songs that are gonna like. I'm gonna hear these songs and I'm gonna get like actively like super excited when I hear them because these four songs are like amazing. Starting with number 4, I think it's Asuzora. How you pronounce that?
Yeah.
Dream Lair.
Yeah. Mhm.
I think okay. I'm a sucker for this kind of like bouncy, like I guess future house. The only like comparison that I can make to this is some of like Abiasa. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Like his songs like Surge. Like that song is insane. This song is I feel like in a similar boat. It's just insane. It's so happy, jumpy, vibrant. The sound design is super cool. I love that like when like the drop hits that like high pitched like sprinkly sound on top. It's just such a happy song. It is not something that I would have expected to hear on this compilation. It just puts me in a good mood whenever I listen to it.
Yeah, I also really like this song. I know this obviously I've heard a lot of people compare it to Iobon's older music, like 2018 kind of style of future house, and I think they like it's super summery and bouncy. And I mean, I don't really have that much to add, just because you kind of, I guess we both pretty share like kind of the exact same feelings on this song, just really uplifting. And I've heard of Azuzora in the past, but none of their music has really like hit me in the way that this did. Because I heard this, and I was immediately like just in it, like transcendent, I guess, like in such like a good mood.
Yeah. I mean, the only other song I've heard from Asuzora is their remix of like Drop Gas or Telescope, I think it was. Which admittedly I don't really remember. But yeah, this song is awesome. It's my number 10. Like you guys said, it's very like reminiscent of like 2018 Iobon. It's just very happy, very vibrant. It's like it's one of those songs you can't listen to with like a straight face, or like you can't listen to when you're like sad or angry. Like you listen to it, and you're automatically just like you perk up a little bit. It's really cute.
It's the ultimate vibe song.
I mean, yeah, it's a nice, very pleasant, very fun, bouncy future house track. It's a style that I always like, if not love. But what makes this song for me is like the B section of the drops when, I don't know, just that lead. Something about that lead is so satisfying. And the way it kind of subtly like cuts in and out really fast, and there's like different like textures being played. Like it's a very satisfying thing. And that really makes the song for me. I love the cutting between like that kind of classic kind of Iobani like future house lead in the initial part, and then like sorry, I said B section, not B section, but you know, like there's like a 4-bar idea that's like being repeated, and it's like the first 2 bars and the last 2 bars are like distinct from each other in my mind. And it's those last 2 bars. It's crazy how much that can do for a song, but that's what really boosts this one to me. This one's on my list, yeah, number 10. Not too much else to say, just really clean, really great sound design, and yeah, very catchy melody.
Yep. I agree with pretty much everything that everyone else said. I also wanted to mention the vocals. I really like them.
That's true.
They might just be like from a vocal pack, but I still think that they fit really well.
Yeah,
They
I
do,
agree.
yeah.
I do, yeah. I also want to, the intro, like even though it's kind of disconnected from kind of the rest of the song, I honestly, it just works for me. It's just kind of it's very hyped to hear that like electric guitar and like the drums, and it kind of builds and then it just fades into this song. It just works for me. I like that they added something a little extra, you know, that doesn't have to be there, that no one would notice if it wasn't there. I like that they added it just to spice it up. Take us to your number 3, Blamo.
All right, number 3. This is definitely like on everyone's list. This is
Oh man.
omega-3 fatty acids by
Yeah.
Let's
Eliderp,
go.
Hell yeah,
There
bro.
it is.
Zeneth. This song, I don't know. Like, what do you want me to say? This song is just a complete banger. This is a funny story because this song was playing like right as I was leaving to go to the Batumi International Airport, and I heard the first drop, and I was like, holy shit, this is insane. I thought the second drop was gonna be like not a copy paste, but just like something with like similar flow, maybe different sound design. When that second, I was by the time the midsection hit, I was like, all right, guys, I gotta brush my teeth, I gotta get ready. And then the second drop hit as I was like putting my AirPods down, and I was like, wait, what the fuck? I put it back in, and it started like just going crazy. That second, I will never forget that the fucking random the break beat switch up with just absolutely insane sound design, and it's just like not even just a core memory. It's just insane. The first drop is good also. The flow is crazy. The dun 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 dun. The snare, obviously, the percussion's crazy. It's just
that's
fucking
JoeB.
insane.
Bro, I have a similar international travel themed story about this song. So I was not in the Batumi National Airport. I was simply in Canada when the premiere was going on, and this was
Me
after.
too.
You know what? It was after like a 9 hour drive to Canada. We got a flat tire on the way there. We were exhausted. We were so tired. Like I had gotten like 3 hours of sleep the night before. I was so tired. And when that first drop hit, I was going crazy in the Niagara Falls hotel room. I was losing it. Like all that tiredness just I heard the Out on the Floor vocal sample, and after that, I was a whole new person. Like this song is so unbelievably hard. Like that first drop, just you don't expect it because there's a good pretty long intro to this song that's just kind of like an acid bass and a drum break, and then it just hits you so hard. Yeah. And it's just I don't even know what to say. When you get an eliderp and JoeB on the same song, you get something special every time.
You can't go wrong.
True.
Yeah.
When
They're the goats.
my epiphany was when we saw eliderp live at Flowfest.
Yeah, you saw the light.
Yep.
I did not. I would have hated the song before I saw eliderp.
I saw the light
Like because of seeing like Can't Explain and Fly So High live. I just like love this type of dubstep now. So I thought it was pretty good. Like I thought it went hard. It's not on my list, but it goes hard.
It's my number
eliderp
3.
has found the way to our hearts.
I love this song. This is my number 1. Love eliderp, love JoeB. It's just like it's just so innately satisfying, incredibly clean, but also loud production, and the super tight percussive basses played with interesting rhythms. It's like, I mean, what more can you say? You know, the production is so clean, the sound design is perfect, the flow really makes both drops in different ways. Like the first drop has this really like I've never like a flow like that in like a dubstep song where it's it's strange, but it hits so hard, especially with like that metallic bass just like plucking, And the second drop also is like a completely different style, but just perfect sound design. I especially love the like fill that starts the drop, where it's just kind of switching through all these different type of bass sounds, and then it settles on this really minimal one, just ascending in pitch. You can't help but go hard. Yeah, I mean, what more can you say? Like drops perfectly. These guys know what they're doing. But one part of the song that I want to call attention to, that I always appreciate, is there's some pretty subtle and simple things being done in the verses to just make them more interesting. I like the part before the first drop where it's kind of this ascending art being played, and it switches through like different instruments playing it. There's like a little like bell kind of sound, or like more sawtoothy sounds. And then in this, like in between the first and second drop, there's like this section where there's these they're kind of far back in the mix, these kind of quiet, almost like Latin sounding like string instruments. Like there's a lot of like very simple things, but they really work. And oh my god, there's a part at the end of the song, like in the last drop, where someone's going hard on the talk box, and it's just going like crazy all over the place with pitch, and yeah,
That part's so sick.
just a great song. It goes hard. It's interesting apart from the drops, and yeah, just you can't go wrong with these guys. It's awesome. It's my number one.
Number 2, we have Convexity and Kinectra with Wrong Idea. I cannot tell
baby.
you how absolutely like difficult it was for me to decide if this or Omega 3 Fatty Acids was better. I sent, you see the edited message near my list. I was like, wait, no, this song's better. Wait, no. And I eventually settled on Wrong Idea being better. I want to introduce a new term. We have the term LJing for when a song has like such crazy like flow.
Shout out to Lenval Lair.
Yeah, shout out
to
Shout out to that man. I want to introduce a new term. It's just like, because Wrong Idea has, I think the drop has like absolutely like perfect flow. I love how it goes from like just the insane like basses to like that weird funky bass thing. Then it goes to the synth pluck, and then it just goes back to the basses. It all hits so hard. The percussion's clean. Obviously, it's Convexity.
Mhm.
It's just like a new form of LJing, where instead of just moving your entire like just going absolutely crazy, it's just like condensed, just moving. Like you're moving perfectly in time to the song. It's just, and also the B section with that high pitched lead.
Oh
when
my
I heard
God.
that part for
Yeah.
the first time, I got such like a rush of like dopamine. That part is just absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Shit, man, so fucking good, dude.
Aaron,
What?
I would say we give you the floor.
I mean, it's my favorite song on the compilation. I mean, it's kind of crazy. Convexity, like, I interviewed them 4 years ago about Expanse Records, and now
Wow.
like they're easily like one of my favorite dubstep producers, like, period. I mean,
That's awesome.
I think Blamo said it very well. Like, the flow is just perfect. It like rattles off so well. The percussion is just insane. I like how like the flow, I don't know, it just like goes from swingy to like, then they do like the solid delivery of like the drums, and then of course the high note in the second drop is just, or not the second drop, like the second section is just nuts. But yeah, it is only one drop, and when I remember when we were listening in the premiere, this like the drop ended, and I was like, you know what? That's like completely fine that it was only one drop. I was like completely satisfied, just because it was long and it went through like so many different phases, and I was just completely satisfied. So yeah, it's my favorite song on the comp.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I've never, Convexity's music is kind of taken a while to grow on me. I definitely like it more than I used to, but this one I think is still gonna take some time. Like I can listen to this song and be like, yeah, this is like really good, but there's just not really anything to it that comes out and grabs me right now. But I feel like in the future, this definitely has a lot of potential to grow on me. As that's happened with a lot of Convexity's music, where I've heard it the first time, and you know, I don't really feel like there's anything to go back to. But then one melody gets stuck in my head, or a flow gets stuck in my head, and then I go back and I'm like, yeah, this is like really good.
Yeah,
So I think it's only a matter of time before that happens with this one.
This not too much to say that hasn't been said. This song goes so crazy, similar to Blamo's story, where like he remembers exactly what was happening as first hit for like Omega 3 Fatty Acids. For me, I remember like we were typing in chat because we were all listening along together, like typing in a chat, like, and you know, I remember hearing the like classic, you know, kind of Convexity like vaporwave intro, like the vocals and the big drums and that detuned lead, right? And being like, I think this one's gonna be chill. And we were like, oh, it's really slow. And I was like, yeah, I think it's going to be chill. And then right as I was like typing that, the drop hit and it was insane. And I started I started LJing, which in case it wasn't clearly explained is when a song is so damn good, it makes you like physically move along to it. It makes you headbang or move your hand or leg or whatever. It makes you just go crazy.
No, but I think what Blamo was talking about is the dubstep review channel.
Yeah.
The Azel.
I was gonna say
the
like,
Azel.
like I was like
Yeah.
naughty stepping to that song.
Yeah.
Whatever you want, yeah, whatever verb you want to use. LJing, naughty stepping, azzling. I was doing it. I was doing it when the drop hit. I love such a simple thing. I just love the short delay that hits off of the main like bass. That is so incredibly satisfying, and it's such a small detail, but I'm so happy it was included. Shout out to whoever put that really short delay on the lead, because it goes damn hard. As does the solo and the classic beep snare. It just hits hard. It's perfect. It's great. It's my number 3.
All right, I believe it is time to reveal the number one of, or my number one of All Nighter Volume 7. I've talked about this song before. It's Direct and Kazukii with Falling Down. This song is absolutely gorgeous, dude. I heard this for the first time, like listening to the listening party, and I was just most of these songs I had to listen to like a certain number of times for it to like really click with me. But this song just immediately, I just knew that this was gonna be like one of my like just right off the bat one of the top songs of the year. Okay, Direct is one of those artists where they make like consistently good music, but they rarely make music that just like sticks out to me. Not in the sense that their music blends in, but they're always like missing something that makes it from being just like an immediate classic. This song, maybe it's the presence of Kazukii, but this song just has it all. I think that the thing that distinguishes this from like every other Direct like garage song is the melody. The fucking melody, dude. The melody is perfect. It flows amazingly with like the garage beat, which is already clean, which is a given because it's Direct. Its production is always like amazing. And I was like, all right, the song's pretty good. And then the fucking second drop hits with like the stutter bass, the vocal chops that just go crazy at that part. That part is just absolutely gorgeous. It wasn't even over there, dude. They have like the vocal section part at the end with, I don't know if it's Direct's or Kazuki's vocals. Those, but whoever did them, if it's Kazukii, those vocals are so fucking good. I would be like comfortable saying that this song would be like probably like at least top 20 of the year so far. This song is absolutely beautiful. Oh, no questions asked. I thought about it for a little bit. This is definitely Direct's best song. Like no questions asked. This song is fucking amazing job, dudes.
Yeah, it was so surprising. It was so surprising. Like Direct and Kazukii are not producers that I normally like. I see them as talented producers, but I never listen to any of their music regularly. So I was so pleasantly surprised by this song. Like I agree. I think like this is in my top 3. And it's definitely one of my favorite songs from either of them. Just like, I mean, as you said, it's like really just, especially like the vocal, that second drop with the vocal chops. Like, I think like the I Don't Want to Say Goodbye vocal where it does like the vocal
there's like, I don't
yes, with the like the pitch. Oh
like,
god,
it's so good.
Yeah, that part's really
and like
catchy.
it just hits, dude, right in the fucking heart.
It's so fire.
Good.
And like that final part, like you said, it's just god tier, like the Kazukii vocals. And during the premiere, like I thought the song was ending, so when that part came in, it just took me so off guard, and I was completely blown away. It's just so good.
It's like, stop it! The song's already perfect. You don't need to do it. He's already dead.
It's like a dream collab because it takes like Direct's just like an insane producer, and then Kazukii just like he just knows how to put a vibe in a song so well. You know what I mean? Like there's just like a vibe that all Kazukii songs have, very chill, and his vocals are so good, and they all have like the same structure, but it never gets old. It's really nice. It's a really nice song. Very, very pretty.
Mm-hmm. This is I remember we were in the premiere chat and we were like, oh, Direct on form. You know, we were like, all right, let's hear it. And then right away, it starts out with those like piano chops with like the soft like noise layered over it, and it was just like moving through the melody, and we were like, all right, you know what, they did it. Like you just hear that and you're like, it's great. And this is a great song. It develops further from there. It's pretty varied. And it's simple, but it's varied, and it evolves as it moves on. And it's just like pristine production, you know, like Direct, cleanest garage out there, and this is no exception. perfect drums, really great vocal chops that, like, yeah, like you said, I don't want to say goodbye. But even in like the first drop, like just I don't know, the one that comes in like the B section, it's like really high pitched and it's kind of played as an instrument almost. It's great. Like just a really beautiful song, and yeah, that vocal section is the perfect cherry on top at the end. It takes it from being like a very simple and good garage song and just makes it like hit really hard emotionally, makes it feel more special. And yeah, this is my number two. Um, it's just it's great.
All right, is it my turn?
Yep.
It's your
Yep.
turn.
Oh,
Take us
baby.
away.
All right, so my number 10 was Asuzora Dream Lair. That's the only repeat I have from Blamos, I think.
Wow.
Really?
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think so.
We had a
Oh
contrarian
my
over here.
God.
All right, so my number 9 is the Wishlane Jacob Jeoffrey song in Def Sharp with Daisy Chain.
All right, I'm less
Amazing
tired
song.
now.
Amazing song. I just love loud Def Sharp rock and Def Sharp's little like indie era that he's going through right now. So damn good. I think Wishlane sings on this too, which is like their vocals are insane. Def Sharp's vocals are amazing. I don't know if Jacob Jeoffrey sings on this too, but really pretty song all around. I just love loud Def Sharp music, like Jaded and the whole Tides EP. One of my favorite projects from last year, and this feels like another song off it. It's so good.
Yeah,
So satisfying.
I'm also a big Def Sharp fan. I think their music there's a lot of passion put into it. There's a lot of, energy and effort put into their music, and I think Def Sharp has really over the years found what they're passionate about in music, and you can really hear it when you compare their EDM to what they're making now. It's just night and day. Like this is what Def Sharp loves
100%.
doing, and you can like this song. These three work so well together. Like I saw this collab was happening, I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna be really good, and it's super catchy. It's super triumphant sounding, and every vocalist on it. I can't pinpoint who's singing on what parts, but all the vocals are fantastic. I think this is one of Def Sharp's best in recent. I think this is probably my favorite Def Sharp song since probably Common Courtesy. It's just super catchy, super triumphant. I'm a big fan.
Yeah,
This is my number 6.
I agree. I'm a big Def Sharp fan too. Not too much else to say that you guys haven't already said. I think this is really catchy. It didn't make the cut on my list, but it's definitely one that I have in my playlist. One I'm coming back to. Really clean production. I always appreciate. Usually when Def Sharp does like loud rock, it's not just super like blown out and like you can't hear the drums or anything. It's not like just like a cloud of noise. Like there's a lot of definition in there, and like you can really feel the rhythms and you can feel the drums hit. And I always appreciate that. Production wise, it's just perfect, very catchy, great vocals. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm not too familiar with Wishlane or Jacob Jeoffrey, but Def Sharp is somebody who I respect a lot. I think out of like the songs from them that I really like, I think Moon Phases is really good, and You and I is like one of my favorite songs like ever. That song is so
Oh my
unbelievably
god! Don't get
catchy.
me started.
That song is so fucking good. And this song isn't, I say, for like a lack of like comparison because I don't have that much to base it on. This song does hit me in the same way that Moon Phases does. Just really loud rock, really catchy rock. I really like. I'm assuming I don't know if all three of them sing, but I really like the vocals. And similar to a song we're going to be seeing, I think 8 songs from now. I think this reminds me of a song that I would like listen to like a lot, like 10 years ago, like in like 2012 when I'm playing some like Minecraft survival mode. It just gives me like perfect like early 2010s, late 2000s vibes. Super good.
Yes, sir. So my next one is I don't know if this is a controversial one, but I saw you guys talking about it. It's Story by First.
Hell yeah.
It's like such a cute song. And I love the vocal. Like there's like these vocal melodies in the song that like I've never heard before, and it's so good. Like that one that's just like do 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 like that. Like oh my god, like it like I get goosebumps. The vocal is just so good. The instrumentals just fit so perfectly. It's such a cute song. It makes me so happy. It's like it's like the Asuzora song in the way that's like Like I can't listen to it when I'm like angry or sad. Like it makes me really happy.
Yeah, I like this one a lot too. It definitely like I remember during the premiere when we heard this for the first time, we were kind of like oh boy, like why is there Vocaloid, all that. But I listened to it a couple more times, and it started to be like I could look past it. Like I think Vocaloid sounds pretty fire on this song. I think it's
It does.
like
yeah.
obviously I don't listen to practically any music with like primarily Vocaloid vocals, but I think
That's a lie.
what are you talking about? What do you mean by that?
Really? Miss
This is
3000
like
Hatsune Miku plays?
Yeah, sorry. I think the like Jeeelm said, the melodies I think are the best part about this song. They're so kind of bright and go all over the place, and like I guess my analogy that I'd say is they kind of just like reach, like they go like to the star, like they feel like they shimmer up so much. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I feel like they're so kind of like I guess triumphant and kind of like in that sense. Yeah, I really like this song. I think it's pretty. It's definitely like pretty simple. There's not a lot going on, but I don't think it needs a lot going on. I think it does what it does really really well.
Yeah, this is a song that I definitely like respect more than I'm like actually into, because like it's produced well. I think the Vocaloid, while like not for me at all, to be honest, I think it's unique and makes it stand out. And honestly, it's like catchy. This thing has gotten stuck in my head like a
It's
surprising
really
amount of
catchy.
times.
It's so catchy.
This is like the Hollow Life pipeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna start watching VTubers after this song.
Yeah, I also really like this song. I just find it to be very fun, very catchy, and also I like if you read the lyrics, like there's a very clear like juxtaposition at times between sort of like the like almost obnoxiously happy mood of the Vocaloid and like the lyrics being about like existential dread, and like I don't know. I sort of find that very charming when there's like sort of a disconnect between the lyrics and like the mood of the song. Even though the lyrics are also like triumphant at times. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's Vocaloid, and it also took a couple listens to grow on me, but the production is just really clean and like complements the vocals really well. And I also love the little like chiptune influences. It makes it almost like nostalgic in a way as well. Very good song.
Yeah. I don't have really anything to say that you guys haven't said. Very fun, catchy song, nice chiptune melodies. I really like the bass. I think it hits hard, and I like that beat pattern. It keeps the song moving along with a very solid flow, and yeah, I like it too. Didn't make my list, but I'm glad it made yours, because I wanted to talk about it a little.
For sure. Alright. My number 7 is Charlie Dossier's Foxwood and Winter Colors, So Be It.
Let's go.
So gorgeous song. Charlie doesn't have any fucking bad music. Dossier has been on this like pipeline where she also makes just really nice music, like her song on Great Together Volume 3.
Yeah,
Such a good song. It's called Stay
really
Awake. Gorgeous song. Oh my god, it's so pretty. I haven't heard any music from Foxwood and Winter Color, but I might need to check them out because they contributed to this awesome song. It's really, really pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like this one a lot too. I don't really have much to say about it, but I think all the vocalists kill it. I think it's really pretty and really kind of relaxing, and I like it a lot. Just barely. This would probably be my like number 11. It barely missed my top 10.
I like this one a lot. I'm really glad it's on your list. It's my number 6, actually. It's just super catchy. It's super catchy. This one, more than any other song, I think, on the compilation, has been getting stuck in my head. It's an earworm. It's very catchy, very well produced. I really like all the vocals, and I like the lyrics too. Honestly, I think it's pretty impressive in like a songwriting sense what they were able to come up with in 24 hours. It's just like it's nothing crazy, but it doesn't have to be. It's just very catchy, very like fully realized, and yeah, I really like it. Charlie is a great like songwriter, great melody writer, and I can hear little influences from everyone in the track, even those who I'm not familiar with. Or even those who I'm less familiar with, I can hear like little additions, and yeah, great collaboration, super catchy. Number 6.
I think this song, okay, because my thing is that I think Charlie's voice is like really good. So obviously, any song that features, I'm gonna enjoy. This song is no different. It has really good Charlie vocals. It has production that suits them really well. It's impactful. Not much to say. It's just good.
All right. So
Facts.
my number, what am I at? 6. Self Worth, aka More Kismet, Starface with Lunamatic and TYGKO. Awesome song. TYGKO, genuinely just an amazing rapper. Like he's just so good. He's one of those rappers that are on like EDM songs and is like actually good. One of the very, very few.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
feat.
He's genuinely like he was on what other song is he on? Like Shatter by Quiet Bison. I think he's on 2 Quiet Bison songs. Absolutely goes off on both of those. He's just genuinely a really good rapper and he carries the song a lot. The drops are really cool too. It's like this like like I described it as like SpongeBob's boots in like the premiere. That's how the drop sounds. Like just
Yeah.
like this kind of like sloshing, like it sounds really cool. It's like the signature More Kismet drop with like that sloshing, like I don't know, like bass or lead.
Yeah,
whatever that
it's
is.
like squeaky, like bubbly.
Yeah. It sounds really cool. I like it. It's a very like replayable song. Very nice.
Yeah. For me, this song like kind of has the juxtaposition of like it's pretty chill and minimal, but I think kind of that sparkly sounds in the drop combined with the vocals kind of give it a lot of energy, and I think it's pretty good. I am not as big on the second drop, like the Jersey Club section, just because I'm not really into that style that much. But I think the first drop is really cool, really vibey. I really like the vocals, like Jeeelm said. Yeah, I think this is a pretty good song.
Yeah. More Kismet, sorry, I mean Self Worth. Please don't take down the video Virgin Music. But yeah, More Kismet always has like More Kismet has such a way with like vocal chops and like atmospheres in a way that nobody else really does. Like you can hear it in the first drop very clearly. Like it's that kind of bubbly lead, but it's also like this repetitive, like hypnotic, like pitched like vocal chop. It like I don't know, something about it is so hypnotic and it just sets the atmosphere so well. And especially on their album, there's a lot of that. And that is like yeah, the best part of the song for me is the first drop. I love that weird little squeaky lead and I love just the hypnotic like vocal chop in the background. And I love like all the like glass shard like foley that More Kismet does and all of like the weird like details like that. And they're like their drum choice, like the drums are so clean. They hit so damn hard in this song. Not on my list, but like definitely when I wanted to talk about another contender, it's just really cool. It's really I haven't heard like another song like this, to be honest. And I feel like I listen to a lot of music. So, that's a feat in and of itself.
Yeah, I mean,
Obama giving himself the medal.
when I saw that this was like under the Self-Worth alias, I was a little worried, but it actually ended up being almost the best sort of More Kismet song you could realistically expect to be made in 24 hours. Like it has the sound design, like their standard like sparkly, experimental sound design, and like I agree with Jeeelm. I think the rapping is definitely like a massive highlight of this song. Like the flow is just so good. Yeah, this one was really close to making my list, to be honest. After a couple listens, like I really got into this song.
Yeah, I think out of all the songs, like in the track list, this song took me like the longest for me to figure out whether or not that I like it, and I think I really like it. My complaint about the song was that the vocals were like kind of like weird. That drop was kind of like, as in Outshug's words, squeaky, or was Outshug or GM, one of them. But I was just able to just like ignore that and just focus on the song just being just fun. That's just all the song is. Sometimes you don't need just like heavy hitting like inspirational or like larger than life. This song is just like what you need. This song is just like stuttering so fucking hard. This song is it's just fun. The sound design is like what you'd expect from more Kismet. The vocals, the rap vocals, as everyone said, they're really fun to listen to. It's just fun. I've said fun like 10 times I said in this, but
It is indeed fun.
I like it.
Yeah. All right. So my number 5. Let me see who's on this. Arlie, Juko, Numi, and Iko's Iko Guide. Ask him out. Such a fun song. Vocals are so fun, and the fucking sax solo at the very end. Oh my god. Yeah, vocals are just so fun. It sounds like it sounds like all 4 of these people had like such genuine fun making this song. Like you already know they're like bumping this shit at like 3 a.m. being like, this is shit's so good, and it got accepted, and they got to share that fun with everybody who listened to the compilation, and I can hear it. It sounds really good. It's just super fun, super happy.
Yeah, I really like this song. This is my number 10. I think it's so catchy and such like a. I mean, you kind of just said all I had to say. The saxophone at the end is like incredible. That section with the saxophone is one of my favorite moments on the whole compilation. I think it's so fun, so bright and happy, and the vocals are really good too. I really like the vocals, and the just theme of the song is it's a really fun like summery pop song with like a really funky kind of aura. I'm a big fan of music like that, so I like this a lot.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
makes
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
You go.
Who is that in relation to?
I'm just saying, you go, Aaron.
All right.
You go, Blamo.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. I'll go.
Bravo.
All right. This song was I would say I think I had 13 songs to my playlist. This song may or may not be the 14th. I'll see how I feel about it in a couple of weeks. But this song is one of the catchiest songs, I would say. The vocals are really fun. The production is really fun. I'm repeating myself from the more Kismet song, but I would be just like hard pressed to ignore the saxophone solo. I'm a sucker for saxophone solos. This is the reason why "Vampires" by The Midnight is one of like my favorite songs of all time. And this song has a damn good saxophone solo, and what more could you ask for, really? That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I agree. It's fun and catchy. I especially like the chord progression, like the kind of just sliding down movement, the jazziness of it. I think this one gets a little repetitive for my taste, but it is pretty short, and like you said, sax solo at the end rejuvenates it. Very catchy and simple and just fun song. It doesn't have to be anything more. Didn't make my list, but it's one that I like. I'm not even like lying. Like I normally like I have to find some songs or I have to find something to say about some of the songs, but like every song we've talked about today, like I genuinely have things to say about it. This is a really strong compilation.
Yeah.
Word. To me, what makes this song is really just the lead synth. Like, I think we can all agree that like most of the song is pretty repetitive. Like it's just that main synth played in that rhythm for most of it with the vocals changing. But like it doesn't matter really because that synth is just like really catchy and it's just so like vibrant and retro and like sets it sets such like a clear mood to me, and especially like one like the second vocalist also like really fits in with that like 80s sort of style. I don't know. I just really like this song, especially because of that lead synth.
For sure.
It's damn catchy.
All right. Time for me to get shit on. My number 4 is Can of Bliss, Nicotine.
Bruh.
It's such a fun song. It's so fun. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Can of Bliss, usually not my cup of tea. I really like their remix of 800 dB Cloud by 100 Gex. That remix is awesome. But this is totally different. It's just like a really fun, like bouncy, like I don't even know what genre this is, like all post rock kind of like it's very like it's very like pop rock. It's very fun. It's really, really catchy. It has a really catchy chorus. The 20-minute, blast your head off part at the end kind of I'm able to kind of look past it. I think this song's awesome. It's really fun.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought that this song was number one when I was making a reference about like 8 songs from now I wouldn't be able to make this comparison. I think this
No.
song I'll take like the quote devil's advocate route. They say that this song is like not bad. I've heard I haven't been that much into like Bliss's work, but this song is like pretty good. It gives me the same vibes as I genuinely forgot what song that I was referencing to. But it does sound like a song that I would just. This sounds like a song that I would hear like my brother listening to, just like sitting back just in my room while he was like playing like Gears of War 3 on like an Xbox. He would just be blasting.
That's so specific.
Yeah, it's just those perfect vibes. It gives the nostalgic value that like boosts it like 20 places. It's good.
Yeah. It's not really my cup of tea, this kind of style. But like for what it is, it's good. It is actually pretty catchy. Like I can remember how it goes, and I haven't listened to it like more than like once, really. But yeah, it's well produced. It's got a catchy main idea going for it. It's just not really my thing, but I definitely see the appeal. I can see why it's number 4.
Yeah, I think Bliss is kind of definitely a pretty talented songwriter, pretty talented producer, because like they've done a lot of music in different styles, and it's all kind of been pretty of high quality production. But I'm just not a fan of the vocals on this song really at all, and that kind of brings it down a lot for me. Is that I just don't connect with the vocals on the song really at all.
That's fair enough. My number 3, the outro to this compilation, Small House in Spain, Tetherweight. I mean, like, what else is there to say about this song besides like just listen to it? It's gorgeous. It serves perfectly as an outro. The vocals fit really nicely. Like it has those like kind of amateur sounding vocals you hear a lot in this compilation, but they just especially fit really well here. They just feel very like calming and just like relaxing. It's very nice, and it has a really good payoff, and it works. Yeah, like I said, works really well as an ending to this compilation.
Yeah, the song is really pretty, and my like kind of biggest compliment I have for this song is that this song is 6.5 minutes long. I believe it's the second longest song on the album, and it uses every second of that length really well, and it never feels like it's going on too long. It never feels like it overstaying its welcome. It's always really like comfy sounding, really, really chill. And this song, it's kind of weird because in 4 days I will be living in the country which this song is based off of.
And you'll be living in a small house.
I'll be living in a small dorm room in Spain in 4 days. So I'm definitely gonna put this on when I move in, and it'll be nice. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this. Everyone involved was really talented. This like group is a lot of people. So it's impressive that it manages to sound so cohesive and so kind of nice like this with everyone putting in their part to make it like as a whole.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Very nice, pleasant song. Really well produced. I especially like the percussion, like the garagey percussion in like kind of the first bit. I like swingy garage percussion. It always hits, and it hits in this song. Very nice, warm listen through. Yeah, I don't have too much else to say. It's just a very pleasant song.
Yeah, Word. I'm in a similar boat. This song is gorgeous. I think that the payoff, like I would say, like 4 or 5 minutes into the song, it's just beautiful. I'm normally not into like the really loud compressed drums into like loud synths. I would say in this song it works like really well. Not much to say. This is just It's a beautiful song. It's a perfect outro, I would say, for a compilation like this.
I agree. My number 2, Sam Cooper, The Language of Energy.
Mm.
Everybody,
I was waiting for
everybody,
this one to pop up.
Yeah.
really, really good song. It kind of fits, like AT4G, I don't think made this compilation, so it kind of fills that void. But honestly, it's like, it's prettier than, like I can compare it to the AT4G song that was on the last compilation, which was one of my favorites. Such an amazing song. Like, but this definitely has its own identity. It focuses a lot more on like atmosphere and melody, and I think that absolutely works in the song's favor because it sounds so cohesive and it's so well put together. It's just a gorgeous song, like all the way through. I'm just like, this is so pretty.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
one- go ahead.
No, you go. I don't really have
Oh
anything
my
to say.
god, this kid.
What do you?
All right. So basically,
I also like this song. It personally, it reminded me a lot of John Hopkins, which is a big compliment.
Yep.
I thought it was very like impressively produced, especially for 24 hours, and especially being someone who I had never whose name I had never heard before at all.
Yeah.
They were like one of very few producers who I had never heard of before on this compilation. And I was very pleasantly surprised because you love to see an artist who like completely comes out of nowhere and makes like a very impressive song. But yeah, just like the flow, the sound design, I hate to say it, but like the bass it's all just like made very well. And yeah, I just love the concept. Like, yeah, it's sort of a tried and true formula that I've heard before, but it doesn't really matter. Like, I still find it very solid.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was a big fan of this one too. I think going off what Aaron said about this person being like a really small artist, I went to their SoundCloud. Their SoundCloud URL
Yeah,
is
I was gonna say this.
soundcloud.com/user -401465353.
Yeah.
So
That's
just
awesome.
you know,
Yeah.
no, I respect the song a lot. I think it's really bouncy, really enjoyable to listen to. There's a lot of, like Aaron said, the sound design is really cool. The kind of plucky lead that kind of glides along the house beat, I think, is really satisfying to listen to, especially when blending in with all the other elements like the pads and the bass. I think it all comes together for a really nice to listen to song.
Yeah. When I said I didn't have anything to say about it, I misspoke because this is number 5 on my list. What I meant to say was I kind of started talking before I had my thoughts formulated. But one thing, like the biggest like attribute of this song, in my opinion, is the songwriting. I think it has a really somber and affecting like, chord progression and kind of melody, and even like general atmosphere, like, and without feeling overly like, you know, pulling on your heartstrings or overly cheesy or nostalgic or anything. It's just kind of somber without feeling like it's trying too hard. And I especially like this song has like, it's like over a minute at the end where, you know, there's no drums or anything, and it just kind of transitions into this really nice sound, like this really nice, like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of an art. It's kind of like this plucky synth thing with this like vinyl like pitch bending, and I love it. It's so good. It's the perfect thing to cap off the song with. And I'm gonna be honest. Normally, when songs end with kind of instrumental breaks, like when, you know, when the energy fades and they end with instrumental breaks, usually they're not that interesting and, in my opinion, kind of skippable. But in this song, like, it feels purposeful and it feels like I really appreciate that it's interesting enough to listen to on its own. It's not just there to kind of fade out the energy. It's not just there out of necessity, but like Sam Cooper actually made it very interesting to listen to, and honestly, that part it's kind of the most emotional part of the whole song, and I think largely in part to that, due to that instrument selection. It's just like really great song. Like you guys said, the A tag vibes. You know, it's a tried and true formula, and it works. And there's enough of a distinction. It doesn't just sound like a copy or anything. And yeah, I really like this one.
Is that actually A tag? Is that how you pronounce that?
A
I think
tag,
so.
AT4G. Sometimes
I just say AT4G.
this guy doesn't even put the 4 in when he releases a song. Sometimes it's just A
ATG.
tag.
Yeah, alright. This song is one that was also like really close to making my list. I feel like these two producers were mentioned earlier, but I feel like, and I hate to say that this is like, oh, dream fusion collaboration, but this sounds like a perfect like blend of like John Hopkins like world building and like just like general atmosphere with AT4G sound design. And obviously I hate to just say that, but I feel like for based on Outstock's description, an up and coming producer who seems to seems to have like have because like none of you guys have heard of this. I've never heard of Sam Cooper, but hearing this makes me like really intrigued to hear more of Sam Cooper's stuff because this is like it's really pretty. It's really easy to like get lost in. But yeah, it's really pretty. Not much to say. Good job.
For sure. My number one, no surprise, Viznode, Cloudy Sky, and Aspect, Dead End Station. Yeah, I mean, at first it wasn't my number one until like it wasn't my number one. It wasn't even really my top like 5, honestly, because I heard it and I was like, this is good, but I'd rather listen to like Safety or like Helios or like any of the songs off his latest album, The Cloudy Sky. But like I was listening to this song when I was driving home from work the other day during like a thunderstorm. It was like pitch blackout and it was a thunderstorm and I was driving down like this kind of sketchy road and I was just blasting this song and it was such a surreal experience. It was so sick. Like that like apocalyptic like drop that a Cloudy Sky loves putting in his songs. So cool. It always just like he has so many songs where he does that, but they like it doesn't get old. Like it's still so cool every time.
I was
Yeah,
about to
I
say
mean-
this is Jeeelm's like death arc listening to this song.
Literally, like this song is such a journey. Like that first minute and a half, I think I can hear like the Viznode and Aspect influences. I haven't heard any of their music, Viznode or Aspect, but I'll definitely check it out because like that first minute and a half is gorgeous.
It's
It's
all
very-
them for sure.
It's so
Yeah.
pretty. Like that the piano and like the little like ear candy bits, like the static makes it build so nicely. And then that build up comes and you're like, oh shit, here he comes. And then Cloudy Sky hits you with that insane drop. And then it goes into, like a Cloudy Sky's usual like kind of melodic rock stuff.
Mhm.
It sounds very like Safety 2 and then Safety 3. It's kind of the same structure. It sounds amazing. His vocals are like so raw on this one. Like his voice kind of like cracks and it's like I feel it like in my heart. Like his voice kind of cracks when he's trying to hit those high notes, which is definitely something I don't think would have been a song he made that he had more than 24 hours on. Just insane. Just an insane song. The outro is gorgeous. Like 6 minutes of just a beautiful journey. Just
Yeah. I'm a little like conflicted on this one. I see this song as like 3 very distinct parts, and I
Yeah.
don't think any of the 3 really gel with either of the other ones. But on their own, I like all of them. I love the Viznode and Aspect atmosphere stuff, beautiful, gorgeous piano, and like the Viznode like a granular like flutters of like synths and other instruments that just go side to side. They just pop up suddenly. It's very incredibly satisfying and it builds this nice mood. The middle section I'm kind of not too hot on. There's pieces of it that I like. I guess I don't know. I guess I would like it to be more like snappy, if that makes sense. It kind of feels a little too loose for my taste, but there are parts where it gets more rhythmic, and I do have to admit there's something like innately like satisfying about like hearing like really rapid like drums, like it just kind of gets you moving. And then I think the section at the end is really gorgeous. I really love the vocals. I just don't think it fits together. And I don't know, it holds it back a little for me. Like everything
No,
on
for
its
sure.
own
I know what you
independently,
mean.
I like, especially the first and the last sections I really like. But yeah, it's kind of held back a little. Distinctly feels like three pieces, but you know what?
Yeah,
Honestly,
it kind of reminds me of because Safety does the same thing,
yeah,
where
yeah,
like it sounds like he made three different songs and then just kind of crossfaded them together,
yeah,
which is like, yeah, that's fair enough.
yeah. But yeah, that's like kind of the only thing because on their own,
Yeah,
I think every part has pieces that I would go back to for sure, and that I would really like to listen to.
for
So
sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
solid but kind of odd song, but I like it.
Yeah.
that's my list.
My problem with this song is similar to what Ruben has. I think the aspect of this note stuff reminds me a lot of their collab on All Nighter Volume 6, which was one of the best songs on All Nighter Volume 6. So I was in for a song that was like of similar vibes, and A Cloudy Sky is a name that like I love. I love their most recent album. I really like the Safety trilogy. Their vocals are really good. Their vocals on this song are really good. I love like the third half of this song. But I don't know if having as a violent experience as Jeeelm had will make me change my mind, but the second drop is like not really for me at all. Like I heard that drop and I was just like, "What?" I just started like panicking. I I I think I like understand like the vision that like I'm guessing it's a cloudy sky part that what he was like going for, but I would not say that I enjoy it. Still, I love their vocals on the third part. Good
Yeah.
stuff.
I like sort of what Ruben and Blamo are both sort of alluding to. Like I just wish it was a better collab. Like to me, it really felt like Aspect and Visnode did the first part, and then like A Cloudy Sky just took over the rest of the song. And there's a very clear moment where it just turns into A Cloudy Sky. Like to me, it's very sudden. Like the transition isn't great from the Aspect and Visnode part to the A Cloudy Sky part, which is fine because that's kind of the nature of collabs like this. But it does feel like wasted potential because I'm a big fan of both Aspect Visnode and A Cloudy Sky, and I really think that their styles could work well together. Like Visnode's super granular style and like A Cloudy Sky's more distorted, like just crazy loud style. Um, and I just wish that they had like attempted more of like a cohesive piece instead of just like Aspect and Visnode doing like an orchestral intro and then A Cloudy Sky just taking the reins from there. But I still enjoy sort of like what Ruben said. I enjoy individual parts of this song. Like obviously the Aspect and Visnode part. I'm a huge fan of both of them, and I actually really enjoy the I think like the B section of the like heavier drop when the drums start hitting really quickly. Um, I really like that rhythm. Again, I just wish it like they tried to do a more cohesive collab.
That's fair.
It is time for my list. My number 9 is a song that I'm actually pretty surprised has not been mentioned yet. It is "Bygone Wanders" by Below Cloud 9. Just really pretty house song. There's a flute that comes in the B section that I just when I hear that flute, I'm just so happy. It's pretty short, which I mean, obviously, I think it could have benefited from being a little longer. It's only 2.5 minutes, but I think it uses that time well. It incorporates a lot of different elements, and the production's really clean. And like I said, with grabbing some fallen twigs is another one of those songs that just brings me to like spring and reminds me of nature, and has all those kind of those elements to it that make me just want to like sit down and relax and listen to it. And yeah, I really like this song. I think Below Cloud 9 is like super small. I haven't heard of them before this compilation, and I think they're definitely a name that I'm gonna keep watching because if they make more music like this, then I definitely want to hear more from
Yeah.
them.
This is I feel like in a similar boat as the Sam Cooper song, but I feel like unlike the Sam Cooper song, this song does like this I would say a better job at like similar to what you said. It paints like the perfect image of just spring. It just makes you feel happy. I really like the pan flute part, and this might be kind of like a stupid comparison, but this feels like just like a really good version of a Silk song that came out about last year called Threads by I think Arcalum. This song gives you a lot of those vibes in the sense that it's insanely chill. It features a really cool like pluck melody. It has good instruments, good progression, good, super chill. I love it. It was really close to making my list. I think I had it at number 12.
Yeah, exactly what Blamo said. Like down to the last part, it was like it would have been like my top 15. It's really pretty, really nicely detailed. Just yeah, very chill song.
Yeah, I don't really have too much to say. I one thing I'll point out, I really love the percussion on this one, and I do appreciate. I know sometimes when songs are short like this one, it can feel like it can leave you wanting more. But I honestly appreciate when an artist just kind of cuts out the fluff and it's just like,
Yeah.
here it is. Here's the idea. This is all I can like want to do with it, and yeah, I respect that honestly a lot. So I don't really mind that it's short. I think it gets the job done. It's very clean and a very pleasant listen.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, on like a similar note of songs that are like short but gets to the point. This song reminds me a lot of "Happy Cutie Dreamy" by Avon's, which is another song that is just super happy, gives you like a perfect like chill vibe. It has like just good sound design.
I love that song.
It's such a good song, dude. It gives me like a very similar vibe to that. Maybe I underranked this song. Shit, this song's really good.
It is really good. So I don't know if I said it, but my number 10 is "Ask Him Out" by JUKO, Numi, and Echo Side. But I'm gonna create some suspense. My only song that has been mentioned is my number 8. So I'm gonna mention my 7 through 1 right now.
Oh wow.
My 7 was Nuale by Stasys and MANSTRETTA and dheeman. My number 6 was Daisy Chain by wishlane, Jeeelm, and Def Sharp. My number 5 was Tetherweight by Small House in Spain. My number 4 is Dream Lair by Asuzora. My number 3 is Omega-3 Fatty Acids by eliderp, Clickbate, JoeB, and Zeneth. My number 2 is Wander by 360, and my number 1 is Grabbing Some Falling Twigs by eksau, lalanoi. I don't remember how to pronounce the Japanese name. My apologies. Ikasumi, Isolator, and mybear. And my number 8 is Time Lapse by Katito and Yunki.
Yes, really good song.
This song grew on me a lot. I actually completely forgot about this song until I was looking for songs to put in my top 10. And I was like, I didn't remember what it sounded like. And then I went to re-listen, and it was really pretty. My favorite part of this song is the second half where it introduces like the think break, like the one that's in Musician by Porter Robinson. I really like that sample. I think it adds a lot of hype. I think it adds a lot of kind of energy. And this song is pretty chill, but I think the think break fits really well in it. It fits really well into like that kind of. The first drop is house. Second drop, I don't really know what genre you call the second drop. I guess like garage maybe, but I think it fits really well into that. And I really love the kind of how it goes from in the first drop, like the housey or drop, which I think it's really a pretty good blend of both their styles. It sounds pretty unique for both of their music that I've heard. I've heard a bit of Katito's stuff. I've heard Yunki's discography in full, but it sounds pretty unique for both of them, I'd say. But the first drop, you have this really minimal. It's really minimal. There's this really minimal lead playing a really pretty melody, and then in the second drop, it kind of opens up a lot more. The lead's a lot more noisy and a lot more kind of full. You get that think break. You get a lot more sounds and pads, and it just sounds like a really nice progression. And I think this song, I just think it's really pretty and really relaxing. And I think it's named pretty fittingly. I feel like this song would fit well over a time lapse of like a city skyline or something like that. I'm a big fan. It's a lot better than I gave it credit for on my first listen.
Yeah, I think you put it like you're very well spoken. I love the progression. I really like just that first section, and I think it's more. How do you say it? Katito? I don't know why it messes with my head. I apologize if I say it wrong, but I really like that. Yeah, that first section where it's kind of just this like it's like a sine wave kind of pad, like just kind of whirring up in pitch, and I love the percussion. And how it's kind of muted, like you said, it's kind of muted and almost like low passed and very soft, and then it just kind of makes the build into like that breakbeat section or that drum loopy section. It makes it more satisfying and more interesting, honestly. That's not often a style that I'm really drawn to, like the kind of drum loop over some pads, but the decision to make it like a slow build to get there makes it feel more rewarding and more interesting.
Definitely.
Lets me too. And yeah, I think it's a very nice song. Again, they kept it pretty short. They just cut out the fluff, and it's a very nice listen. Very dreamy melody.
Yeah, I also like to add Yoonki was snubbed on All Nighter 6. They collab with Winter Snowfield. That song's so
It's true.
fire.
It is
I'm very
fire.
happy that they got to be on this one. Yoonki is really talented.
Yeah, so funnily enough, my entire list has been talked about.
Really?
I don't
Bro.
yeah.
That's awesome.
It has. Okay, I'll go from 10 to 1. Dream Lair 10, Fallen Twigs 9, Nuale 8, Oh!
Bro.
We didn't talk about Your Touch.
We didn't.
Oh, but would you look at that? Number 7 on my list, Your Touch by Dr. Ushu, Kaval Disdain, and
Ever being.
who's the fourth? Who?
Ever being.
Ever Being. My bad. I didn't have
Ever
it pulled
being
up
when he
in front of
watches
me.
this video.
Aw.
My bad. I didn't have the artist names pulled up. Yeah. Okay, Your Touch. This is just a very fun, heavily Disdain-led dubstep song, which I'm very thankful that Disdain took the reins, at least in like the first drop, because his sound design, like his dubstep sound design, his color-based stuff, the stabs or plucks or whatever you want to call them, is so satisfying. It's just like, and yeah, the first drop of the song, it's just like a catchy melody being played in this super satisfying plucks, and they're moving at a fast-paced rhythm, and it's great. And then, yeah, and like honestly, there's not too much to say about this one. It's not super high on my list, but I just think it's really impactful and catchy, and I like the part in the second drop where the flow just keeps going. It's the same
Yes.
like Dr. Ushu flow from his song on Rushdown, which is why I suspect he had more to do with that part. And yeah, it's just a fun like exercise in flow and just that perfect, can't get enough of that Disdain sound design. Yeah, really catchy.
Word. I mean, to me, like, Disdain can do no wrong lately. He's been one of my favorite artists lately. I mean, Far Away and Halo are two of like my favorite songs of the past 2 years, period. And like obviously like the collab sounds heavily influenced by them with like the stabs and the little melodic flourishes. But obviously I'm not complaining. And like Ruben said, the non-stop flow section of the second drop, it actually reminded me of Morpha by Sharks and Dyadic, also one of my favorite dubstep songs. Also, I actually have sort of grown on the Kaval vocals. Like Kaval has been singing on a lot of his tracks, and I kind of...
Oh, that's Kaval, eh?
I think so, because it was the same on his Exobolt 009 song, I believe.
Makes sense.
And yeah, honestly, if I had to give a complaint about about this song, it's the hard wave section. To me, it felt a little out of place. Obviously, again, that's what happens with these types of mega collabs, where like everyone's trying to mesh together a bunch of parts into one cohesive song. But like, it's well produced, so it's fine. But yeah, obviously, it's the dubstep parts are like amazing. I love color bass. So
Yeah, I thought that song was pretty good too. I like Aaron. I'm also a pretty big Disdain fan. I especially Halo, especially like I think that song is incredible.
yeah,
Lord.
And I hear a lot of that in the first drop. Obviously, it sounds pretty Disdain like. And that first drop, man, is so good. I think it's so satisfying to listen to, so clean, so full. But unfortunately, this song does start to. I feel like the first drop is kind of where it peaks, and then I don't really enjoy the rest of it as much. I think the second drop is cool, but specifically like the B section of the first drop, I'm not that big on, and the hard wave section, like Aaron said, I think it sounds a little out of place. It could grow on me with time, because I definitely like, again, that first shot I think is fantastic, and I think the song is generally, for being a 4-person collab, I think it sounds pretty cohesive. I think there are parts where it could have sounded more, it could have blended in more, but I think it does sound like it does sound kind of, how you would expect, what you would expect out of these 4 producers. But yeah, I do kind of wish that it was a little more my enjoyment of the actual dubstep parts was a little more consistent over its runtime.
Yeah, I don't know how to say. This is just a fun color based song. I wanted to just like highlight the fact that Dr. Ushu has been just like, he's doing the Pelican thing where he's just been like completely just like label hopping. Like the first I heard of him was on like the Cypher last year, and he was just chilling there. He got, I think, on like the second biggest remix compilation of all time. Then all of a sudden he jumps to Rushdown. He jumps to fucking Monster Cat. He goes to Form, and he's back on the Cypher for the fucking Yoked EP. It's kind of crazy. I respect the man's hustle.
That song's the Yoked Dr. Ushu collab, dude. That song's a banger.
Really?
It's so good.
I gotta listen.
Yeah, so I'll finish, I guess, going through the list. So, 10, I'll start over. 10, Dream Lair, 9, Fallen Twigs, 8, Nuale, 7, Your Touch, 6, So Be It, 5, The Language of Energy, 4, Wander, 3, Wrong Idea, 2, I just have it as, it's Falling Down, that's what it's called, and then 1, Omega-3, Fatty Acids. And then with that, we can move on. Let's hear the list, Solomon.
All right. My 10 was First Story, 9 Stasys, MANSTRETTA and dheeman, Nuale. 8 was Asuzora, Dream Lair. My 7, I don't think we've talked about, Biliamoto and Miolophone, IX's Shadow.
Awesome
Good
song.
Good song.
I'm very glad that Form came to their senses this time around, and they actually accepted Biliamoto, because last time, A Tulip for Genji is like one of the best like all-nighter rejections. Same with ISLTR. Is the song like SHHH, which is a god tier all-nighter rejection, and they also got accepted. So I'm glad Form like came to their senses this time around. But yeah,
Yunki too.
True. You're right. There are probably others that I'm not even remembering. But yeah, I'm generally like a really big fan of Biliamoto. Like their style is super unique with like the instrumentation they use. It's just very like ornate and like very esoteric. I don't even know how to describe it. They just use very like odd like instruments, and the melodies are obviously really interesting. In this song, it works super well. And I really like the flow of both of the drops, like the concept of a start-stop drop with like all these sounds and alternate melodies coming in all the time. It's just really fun. And like I also want to point out the one fill in the first drop that sounds just like Sharks, and it goes super hard. I love that.
You're talking about, it sounds like the like Another Heart. Like,
yeah, like the
right? Yeah.
It's so good.
It's shockingly similar. It's like the same rhythm and like
yeah.
It's fire.
I love that fill. It's I just really like the song. It's super fun.
Yeah, I thought this was pretty good too. I think I haven't heard much of Biliamoto. From what I've heard of them, I haven't been like the hugest fan, but I haven't heard too much. But I have heard quite a bit of Miolophone's music, and they're kind of like cinematic style. All those like unique instruments. I hear that a lot in this song. There's definitely, from what I know of Biliamoto, it's a pretty cohesive blend of their styles, and I think they work pretty well. Because I'm a big fan of Miolophone's In My Garden EP, really cinematic and nice to listen to. And I think during the intro of this song, during like the bridge, you can hear a lot of that cinematic kind of Miolophone influence. And it's just something I like that kind of sets the song apart from like your average like color-based song. I don't know. Would you even consider the song to be color-based? It's kind of pretty unique.
I don't even know.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think so. I think that main sound is made with a vocoder for sure, because it has this really distinct like. I don't really hear like any music do this, but I just love this really like guttural, like gritty, like vowely like sound. It's incredibly satisfying, and I love the simple flow and yeah, I like the actually like pretty simple nature of the drop, like contrasted against this like really grand like orchestral intro and atmosphere, and I think it makes for like a pretty cool and surprising twist. And the drop itself is very fun to listen to, and yeah, like just a really cool main sound. I just really like that sound. It's very satisfying, and yeah, all of the orchestral stuff just carries the track forward, keeps it interesting, and the contrast between that stuff and like the drops, the more electronic focused parts, is really cool. And yeah, like I'm happy this is on your list because I think it's quite a unique song, like we've been saying. And yeah, didn't make mine, but it's a really good song.
I just like really this hits like the same like senses that like a lot of like Puig and Sixth Sense music does. Just really satisfying. I guess it's like color future based. That would. But one thing I have to note is that like at the end of the drop, I like that sample. That
Yeah. That sample is really fun. All right. My number 6 is eliderp, clickbate, JoeB, and Zeneth omega-3 fatty acids. My number 5, I also don't think we've talked about. It's Mite or Mite, excuses for losing touch. And yeah, I mean, I've been a big fan of Mite for like, I guess over a year now. Like, they had a really good song called, I think it was called The Peacemaker. That was definitely more like heavy and euphoric, but recently they've been making this more like, I mean, I hate to say it, but like nurture style of music. And I thought, I mean, I said this in our Discord, but like, there was, I mean, like these like all nighter comps are obviously reflective of like what is like the popular trends on like SoundCloud at the time that they're made, and I thought that there was like a lot of music that sort of blended together on the compilation when it came to like this sort of like housey style, or especially like this style of vocals that Mite does on this song. But this song stood out to me mostly because like the drops are just really pleasant. Like the stutteriness of the drops and the vocal chops. I'm generally just like a sucker for like stuttery drops and really nice vocal chops with a catchy melody. So it was definitely, out of all of the songs that were sort of this ilk, I thought this was my favorite. So I thought it like warranted a high spot. I obviously just really enjoy it. Like the melody is super good and it's like really complex, almost like deceptively so.
Yeah, I agree. I really like this one. I was struggling to place it. I ended up putting it at 11. And it was one that if it didn't end up on anyone's list, it was one I was going to bring up at the end because I think it's worth talking about. Yeah, it is deceptively complex. That's a really good way to put it. There's lots of subtleties to it, and that lead sound itself is really, really cool. It makes it, for me, the kind of flutter of synth and vocal chop combined. Very satisfying, very great melody. I also really like the vocals, like specifically just the vocal melody. I think is simple but really catchy and memorable. Makes for a good hook that pulls the track forward. And yeah, really great production, really solid Foley work. And yeah, I definitely agree. Like there were a lot of songs this kind of like nature inspired house song, like like low key house songs with a focus on like Foley, and this is definitely like of the top of the pack in terms of songs of that ilk. It stands out. Yeah, great song.
Yeah, you guys pretty much nailed how I think about this too. Although my only kind of thing that I would complain about, I guess, is that I think the percussion is a little, it feels a little drowned out sometimes by the chords, by the sound design. And I think for like a house song to really hit, the percussion is really important and it needs to kind of stand out. So that's my only kind of thing that's preventing me from really being into this song. I think obviously the idea and the melodies and everything that's not the percussion, I think is really high quality. I just wish the drums hit a little harder.
Yeah, that's fair.
This I think this song sounds like it would be perfectly at home. I think this is a compliment. I don't know about you guys, but I think this song would fit really well on like Create Together Volume 3. That's just like really lush.
I agree.
Quote nurture house. I think the vocal chops are really catchy. The percussion, I guess, is an issue, but like it's such like a nitpick. I think it's just there's not much wrong with it.
All right, moving on. The rest of my list we've already gone through. 4 is Cabal, Dr. Rushu, Ever Being, Disdain, Your Touch. Number 3, Directing Kazukii, Falling Down. Number 2, Infowler, Eccentric, DJ Not SKYBREAK, and Christian Hayward, Boundless. And number 1, Convexity and Kinectra, Wrong Idea. There we are.
Very nice.
We reviewed all
There
of
is,
Volume 7.
There is one song that I'd like to bring up. And
I'm
talk about.
actually not sure. I'm actually not sure which one you're going to talk about, and I'm curious.
Okay,
I
I'll
feel
give it a
like
little
I
preamble. I think you'll find out what it is pretty shortly. But contrary to a lot of previous all-nighter songs, I feel like most of the big collabs on this one were really cohesive. Like they flowed well. They felt like one unified idea, and I wasn't really sure kind of who did what. Whereas in previous years, like lots of collabs, I was like, okay, this is this artist section, this is that artist section. There was one collab this year that definitely is messy in a good way, in a classic all-nighter way, where you can tell kind of who did what, and it's a bunch of ideas just being mashed together. And even if it doesn't fully fit together, I think it's so it's just so representative of like the spirit of all-nighter and like, you know, what they aim to get people to do with these compilations, that I think it's worth talking about. And that is, I'm talking about Dubstep to Emotional Clap. This is a massive, I think, 15-person collaboration. And you can tell, it's 6.5 minutes long. It's got all these different parts, and it doesn't fully come together. But I think I admire its ambition. And yeah,
I think it's cool.
I don't know.
The phone on part
what do
where
you
he
guys
sings
think
about
about it?
stealing the sun goes hard.
True. I know. I think Bonon said in Twitter that part was Lewis Cole inspired. And I don't know if any of you guys have listened to Lewis Cole, but I hear it and I really like it. Lewis Cole sounds really unique, and I think Phonon did a really good job at kind of paying homage to that in this. It's definitely my favorite part of the song.
Yeah. I mean, Phonon's part is definitely a standout for me. I think it's really fun. It's really different. It adds a cool flavor to the track, and it's not super out there with the jazzy harmonic stuff. It's, you know, it's really cohesive, and it's cool and it sounds fun. I also do like, there's all these different styles of dubstep in this track, and I have to say my favorite is the very first drop.
Yeah.
The machine gun, probably Kaifu.
Zero.
Vlams, you know. That kind of like, yeah, just really punchy, like machine gun dubstep. You can't go wrong, you know. We talked about how much we love eliderp and JoeB. Like, you can't go wrong with that style. And that part works super well. It has a really great flow. And yeah, I just honestly, like, there isn't really a part of this song that I particularly dislike. Even like the really weird dubstep part. I'm trying to find like a timestamp. Oh, it's about 4 minutes in. Like I don't know if it's even dubstep. It's weird. It's this weird experimental part. And I honestly think it sounds really cool. Like, even if it doesn't fully come together, like, I don't think it necessarily has to, in terms of like this kind of compilation. And I do like that there's at least one of these like mega collabs that is like a beautiful mess in, you know, and I mean that in a positive way. I like that there's a song like this on the compilation.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, honestly, I like you said, I mean, all of the individual parts are pretty good. Like, I really like the first drop, the Zeroth, Kaifu, Vlams, probably some combination of them, machine gun, dubstep drop. The phone on part, obviously, and then like there's a section later that I think is inverted silence, like the upbeat sort of I'm pretty sure, I don't know how to describe it, but I'm pretty sure it's inverted silence. Those parts are all
Just
really
like
good.
hands up, or like kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah, hands up, hands up.
Yeah.
I think the reason why like it didn't end up on anyone's list, and also the reason why it's worth talking about as an honorable mention, is because like it's such like a notable congregation of like all these really like important and talented artists within the scene, and like they all came together and made like a song that to me has like very little replayability. Like it's 6 minutes and 30 seconds with like no cohesive idea, but it's just like a showcase of all of like the talent that exists in dubstep at the moment, which is like immense. Like I'm a huge dubstep fan, and there's just so much like on show here, even though like the song as a whole I don't really like. There's just so much to this song that it's definitely worth like shouting out.
Yeah, like it's really admirable, and I think like it wouldn't work on any other type of compilation, but it's, like you said, it's kind of like a showcase of talent, and in a way that's kind of what the all-nighter comps are all about. They're like a showcase of like the underground scene and smaller artists and what they're able to do. And even though not everyone in this track is exactly small, like there's a lot, everyone is talented, like you can't deny that.
Right.
And yeah, I just really admire it, and I like that there's usually a song like this on every all-nighter compilation. I think it's an important part of the ecosystem, and that's why it's worth talking about.
And with
And are there any other? Yeah, with that I think we're done.
Yeah.
We did it all-nighter 7.
Been a while.
Yeah.
Overall thoughts on the compilation?
Really
I think
good.
it's pretty good. I think it has yet to beat All Nighter 5 as my favorite one, but I think this is my second favorite, and I think it's quite a bit. I think I like it quite a bit more than my third favorite. I think it's definitely pretty good. Definitely a lot of people that I'm happy get the spotlight they deserve. Definitely a lot of songs that I'm gonna go back to a lot. Yeah.
It might be cutting it close, but this might be my favorite all-nighter comp. Because I feel like while the other comps have like really high highs, this one has a combination of having really high highs and like very little like lows. Like I would say that there was only like 5 songs that I actively dislike compared to like a lot more on like other compilations. And this song has like the really good songs to back it up. Like like my top 3 is gonna be like my best of the year. Sure.
Yeah. I agree. I think it has some really great songs on it, but it has a consistency to it that like very few of the all-nighter comps have, just by the nature of them being like 50-track compilations that span all these different genres. But it's impressive, how consistent it is, and it's impressive that there are tracks that are far removed from my top 10. Like there are tracks that I would put probably in like like the lower like or close to like 20, or and you guys would bring them up and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a really good song. Like I'm not overly positive about music. Usually when we do rundowns and we talk about all-nighter compilations, like making my top 10, usually the lower songs on it are like ones that I like but didn't add to my playlist and probably wouldn't listen to much. But with this one, like I had to cut songs out. Like that, I have the most playlist ads I've ever had from an all-nighter compilation, and obviously, there's a little bit of recency bias involved, but yeah, I wouldn't hesitate in calling this one the best one so far. It's great. I'm really happy with how it turned out.
Really good compilation.